All right, my party people, what's going on? And it's another wet, cold, dreary day here in Virginia Beach. Yeah, I'm out here taking care of some business and just wanted to do a quick video about a topic that I don't know, maybe I just invented it or a catchphrase or whatever, called notary tunnel vision. That's right, notary tunnel vision. You say, well, what's notary tunnel vision? Notary tunnel vision is when you get so focused on one aspect of the signing that you forget to check to make sure other aspects are done correctly. And that could be some from the standpoint of you're so busy on getting to the appointment, making sure you're there on time, that you forgot to read the instructions. You're so busy reading the instructions that you didn't double check to make sure the document is printed correctly. Yeah, just letting the wife know where I was at, y'all. It could be a variety of things. Typically what happens is you get so focused. I mean, you're like right here on making sure the signers do this, or you do your part, that you forget one or the other. One of the other issues is that you can get so preoccupied with making sure you present the documents and share certain things about each page that you come across, that you forget to make sure that they sign correctly. And when I say sign correctly, it may be instructions that you forgot to read that said they need to sign exactly as their name is printed, or you'll be deducted $20 on your fee. And there are some companies that will do that. If they don't sign exactly John J. Jones, even though they normally sign John Jones, you get deducted, and you got to go back and do that signing all over again without getting compensated. So you can get so caught up in some of the small things, even from the standpoint of making sure they sign correctly, but you forgot to write John Jones Jr. on the Notarial Act when it had you actually fill it in manually. Because some of them will have you fill it in manually, and it always seems when they have that junior, the third, the second added in there. So it could also be you forgot to make sure that they did the AKA statement correctly. Because that's one that people tend to overlook. They'll do everything else right on the signing, but then they forget to put the AKA statement in there. So be careful of notary tunnel vision. How do you avoid it? By taking a breath, sitting back, chilling, and just saying, okay, let me do everything correctly from start to finish. Let me read the instructions. Let me make sure I understand the instructions. Let me look at the documents, especially if you have time to. And even if you don't, and you got the last minute phone call and they say, hey, look, we're going to pay you $200 to do this, but you got to be there by 5:30 and it's 4:45. The document's already ready. All you need to do is print and go. And in some cases, some companies would be like, hey, don't even worry about printing 2 copies. Just print 1 set. We'll get the signer a copy later, but we need this thing signed and sent back to us today. And you go, and then they got all these little ticky-tack things in there that has to be done this way, that way, or the other, and you wind up missing something because you're so focused on maybe making sure I get there on time. So you got to take a step back, breathe, and relax and say, okay, let me make sure I do this thing right. We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I mean, even recently, I was doing a signing. The person had a round table. I like the square table, but they had a round table, so it wasn't enough room on there. So the instructions I took, I said, okay, well, I'm going to move these instructions. I'm going to put them in my bag because I had already read them. The problem is when I took the instructions off, somehow it was like 2 or 3 pages. I think it was 3 pages that was attached to it or got stuck to it, and those got put in the bag. Well, those pages needed to be done by, one of them needed to be filled out by me, and the other 2 needed to be signed by the couple. And I missed that. And even when I went back and did my doc check, I missed them because they wasn't in the pile that I had them signed, because they got taken out by accident. The next day, I'm looking through my bag, making sure, getting ready for another signing, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember these instructions. And I'm like, why are these other pages in here? And they had their names on it, and I had to go and get them to sign it. So I had them sign it. Then I went and scanned it, uploaded it to their portal, and then I emailed them, told them what the deal was, and dropped it off the FedEx, and I paid for the FedEx out of pocket. and they said, okay, thank you very much, we appreciate that. It happens. It happens. So you have to be careful of notary tunnel vision, because if you stay too tunnel vision, you can miss a lot, a whole lot, and not even realize it. And I'm talking about to the point where you'll be looking at the document, knowing you're supposed to sign something, knowing you're supposed to stamp, knowing you're supposed to do whatever, even review a document with them, but your mind is already 5 pages, 5 steps ahead, and you focus on this thing over here, like, I gotta make sure I do that right. I gotta make sure I get the documents there on time for FedEx shipping because they said that, or I gotta make sure I get the scan backs done, that you miss certain little small things. So just keep that in mind. Take a moment, breathe. You'll be okay. Own up to your mistake, correct your mistake, and if they ask you, and if you miss that, if you completely miss it and they bring it up to you, like this upcoming year, make sure they sign either 2021 or 21, depending on what they tell you for the year. If you have them and they accidentally sign 2020 throughout the documents, they say, hey, we need you to go back out. Don't be sitting up there, you need to pay me to go back out. It was something you missed. Go back out there and get it corrected. Everything will be fine. All right? Talk to y'all later. Peace.